Welcome to another deep dive with us. This time we're taking a look at a YouTube video someone sent in called Getting Rich, Artificial Intelligence, Future Predictions and Risks, Shark Tank India Season 4.
Wow, that sounds fascinating.
Yeah, it's this panel discussion with, I think there are 3 successful entrepreneurs from Shark Tank India.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and it looks really interesting, so we're going to kind of deep dive into that. I think it should give us some good insights into building wealth, especially with AI being such a hot topic. What do you think?
It's a really interesting way to approach this topic because, these people have actually built wealth and now invest in other success.
Exactly. It's not just theory, right?
Right.
So, yeah, the video starts off with this kind of scenario. They're talking about there's this guy, Arvind, and he's 25 years old, and he's living in Jaipur and, has a modest income, but has all these big aspirations.
Right.
And he's asking these panelists, how do I build wealth? I think it's a question that's on a lot of people's minds these days.
Especially in India.
Especially in India, yeah.
Yeah. Right now, India has this booming economic growth.
Yeah.
There's just so much opportunity in the air, and people like Arvind really want to, seize it.
Yeah, absolutely. And what's interesting is, as we dive into what these panelists are saying, it's not just about luck or quick schemes. It's really about a combination of things, starting with pursuing your passions.
Yeah, one of the panelists said that even if you don't end up wealthy, if you're doing what you're passionate about, at least you'll enjoy the journey, which I thought was a good point.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great point too. But they also stress the importance of, having a specialized skill set.
Yeah, and this is where it gets really interesting. They're not just talking about any skills, but those that are hard to replicate.
Okay.
Especially with the rise of AI.
Mm.
Think about it. What can you offer that's unique and valuable in a world where AI is becoming increasingly sophisticated?
Right. It's almost how do you stand out, right,
Yeah.
in this age of AI? And they kept talking about, finding your superpower.
Yeah.
Which I thought was kind of a cool way to put it, It's what's that one thing that you're really good at, those strengths that set you apart?
Mm-hmm.
And, once you figure out what that is, you can really hone those skills and use those to your advantage.
Right.
Were there any, superpowers of the panelists that kind of stood out to you?
One that I thought was really interesting was perseverance.
Okay. Yeah.
And this came up a few times.
Yeah.
And I feel like it makes sense. Building wealth takes time and dedication, It's a marathon, not a sprint. And one of the panelists shared this story about meeting Jensen Huang,
Oh, wow. Yeah.
the CEO of NVIDIA,
Yeah.
years before the company was this huge success, with AI.
Mm.
And Huang was already deeply involved in the field, even when it wasn't mainstream. And that long-term vision and that commitment to his passion, I feel played a huge role in his eventual success.
Right. It's that, it's funny because it's that overnight success, but it's years in the making, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's easy to get caught up in the whole, get rich quick
Total.
schemes. But real wealth is built over time and through consistent effort and, a willingness to kind of weather the storms.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
And speaking of AI, the panelists see it as this fundamental shift.
Okay.
It's not just a passing trend. And they believe it's going to reinvent every industry.
Really?
Yeah, and they're not just talking about tech.
Wow.
One of them gives this great example of how AI is revolutionizing healthcare. Imagine personalized treatment plans
Oh, wow.
based on your entire medical history.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Potentially even reducing costs and improving outcomes. I mean, it's amazing to think about all the possibilities.
It is. It's almost that's mind-blowing. But, even now, AI is impacting our lives in so many ways. I mean, from the recommendations that we see online to even the way we interact with our smartphones, And they talk about this, there's this AI-powered locket that one of the panelists mentions. Have you heard about this?
No.
So it records your conversations, analyzes emails, and even scans your contact book to provide real-time summaries and insights.
Wow.
It's almost like having a personal assistant that knows you inside and out.
Yeah, that's a great example of how rapidly AI is advancing, especially in the realm of personal assistance.
Right.
And this isn't science fiction anymore. It's becoming our reality.
Yeah.
And what's so fascinating is that these panelists, these people who are already incredibly successful, are embracing AI. They're not afraid of it, They see it as a tool for further growth. They see it as an opportunity, not a threat.
Yeah, they're not intimidated by it, they're excited by it. They're like, okay, how can we use this? They see the potential of AI to enhance their businesses and their lives and the world around them, which is really cool. One panelist even predicts that in the next 5 years, everyone will have an AI co-pilot
Wow.
to help them with various tasks. That's a bold prediction, but, given the pace of innovation, it's not entirely outlandish.
No, not at all. It's a good reminder that we need to not only understand AI, but also think about how we can leverage it to our advantage.
Exactly.
Because one thing is clear, AI is here to stay,
Right.
and it's going to have a profound impact on all of our lives.
Yeah, I think so. So it's almost like we need like a whole new skill set, right, to keep up with AI.
Totally.
I
Yeah.
mean, it's amazing. But beyond like embracing AI and everything, what other insights did these Shark Tank entrepreneurs share? Did anything else kind of stand out to you?
Well, one common thread I noticed was their emphasis on calculated risk-taking.
Oh,
They weren't afraid to, step outside their comfort zones and make bold moves, even when others might have, doubted them.
right, right.
But it wasn't just about, like, being reckless. It was about calculated risks.
Right, yeah. No, one of the panelists, actually, he was sharing a story about how, early in his career, he was driven by this fear of regret.
Oh, interesting.
He didn't want to look back and be like, I wish I had taken that chance. So he just made this conscious decision to just embrace opportunities, even if they felt risky.
That's such a powerful motivator.
Yeah.
The fear of missing out, not on, like, a fleeting trend, but on a life well lived.
Yeah.
And it definitely paid off for him because he achieved significant success by taking those calculated risks.
Exactly. Exactly. And then another panelist, he shared a story about how he actually skipped college
Oh, wow.
after high school. He felt that traditional education wasn't the right path for him.
Right.
So he just kind of took a chance on learning by doing.
That's a big decision, especially given all the societal expectations around, higher education.
Yeah.
It really highlights the courage it takes to, like, forge your own path, when it goes against the grain.
He did mention, there was some pushback from his family,
Yay.
but he kind of stuck to his convictions and ultimately it worked out for him.
That's awesome.
But it's a good reminder that there's no like one size fits all path to success, right?
Right.
What matters is finding what resonates with you and having the courage to pursue it.
I think that's a key takeaway from all their stories. The importance of trusting your instincts
Right.
and being willing to, like, take that leap of faith, even when it feels uncomfortable.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, while these entrepreneurs, have clearly achieved a lot, they also talked about the importance of balance.
Yeah, that's important.
Like not getting so caught up in the pursuit of wealth that you neglect other aspects of your life.
Right. One of them even said, like, money is a byproduct of happiness. Meaning, like, if you're genuinely happy and fulfilled in your life, the financial success will probably follow. It's a good reminder that, like, wealth isn't just about money.
Right.
It's about living a well-rounded life.
Yeah. It's interesting because they also talked about how they manage distractions,
Oh, yeah.
which I think is something we can all relate to.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, even these highly successful people, they struggle with staying focused.
Especially with the constant bombardment of information and notifications that we're getting these days.
Right, right.
Yeah. And they mentioned social media specifically, particularly Reels,
Oh,
as
yeah.
being like a major distraction.
Oh, it's so easy to get sucked into those like short, engaging videos, and then all of a sudden, like an hour's gone by.
Totally.
One panelist even admitted to catching himself watching reels for an hour before bed, knowing he should be sleeping. I'm like, oh, I've totally been there.
It's that dopamine hit, right?
Yeah, yeah,
The constant stimulation keeps us coming back for more.
yeah. But what I thought was really insightful is how they talk about like mitigating those distractions.
Right.
Like they emphasized, physical activity, meditation, pursuing hobbies, and spending time with loved ones as a way to stay grounded and maintain mental fitness.
It's about, finding those activities that can help us disconnect from the digital world,
Yeah, yeah.
recharge.
And it sounds like they all kind of developed their own like strategies for maintaining that balance.
Yeah.
One panelist mentioned that like physical activity has been a game changer for him.
Oh, cool.
It helps him manage stress and improve his overall like mental well-being.
And then another one talked about the benefits of meditation
Yeah.
and yoga for staying centered and balanced. It seems like they're all, like, big advocates for finding what works for you and incorporating those practices into your daily routine.
It's not about like completely abstaining from technology or social media,
Right.
but like being mindful of how you use it
Right.
and setting boundaries.
Right. Totally. And I think it's important to note that, they didn't shy away from discussing the challenges of, maintaining mental fitness.
Right, right.
One of the panelists, he openly shared his personal struggles with mental health
Oh, wow.
and how he sought help.
Yeah.
And I think it's so refreshing to see, like, successful people being vulnerable and talking about these issues.
It does. It definitely helps to break down the stigma
Yeah,
surrounding mental health
exactly.
and encourages others to, to seek support
Right.
when they need it. It shows that even those who appear to have it all figured out still face challenges and need to prioritize their mental well-being.
Speaking of vulnerability, another panelist shared this really powerful insight about failure.
Oh,
He
okay.
was talking about how, like, he used to view, like, setbacks as these personal shortcomings,
Right.
but now he sees them as valuable learning experiences.
Oh, that's good.
He even referred to them as, like, the dots connecting moments.
Oh, yeah.
It's that feeling when you realize that even the toughest experiences often lead to something better, something that you wouldn't have achieved otherwise.
Right, right.
It's such a beautiful way to reframe failure, isn't it?
It is.
Instead of viewing it as this, like, negative thing,
Right.
it's an opportunity for growth and learning. And, that ability to bounce back from challenges, that resilience,
Yeah.
is something they all seem to possess.
Yeah, it's like they've all developed this um, mental toughness, right?
Yeah.
That allows them to kind of navigate the ups and downs of, life and business.
Right.
And they don't let setbacks define them.
Mm.
They use them as fuel to kind of move forward.
That's such a powerful message, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not about avoiding failure. It's about learning from it
Right.
and coming back stronger.
Yeah.
It's about embracing that journey,
Right.
with all its twists and turns, knowing that each experience shapes us and contributes to our growth.
And I think that resilience is something that can be cultivated.
Oh, for sure.
It's not necessarily an innate trait, right?
Yeah.
It's a skill that you can kind of develop
Mm-hmm.
over time
Absolutely.
by facing challenges head on and learning from your mistakes.
It's about, developing that inner strength
Right.
and determination.
Yeah.
That allows you to persevere,
Mm-hmm.
even when things get tough.
Yeah.
It's about believing in yourself
Yeah.
and your ability to overcome obstacles.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems like these Shark Tank entrepreneurs, they really embrace this idea that challenges are just opportunities for growth.
Mm-hmm.
They don't shy away from them. They just lean into them.
Exactly. And I feel like that mindset has been a key factor in their success.
Right.
They see obstacles not as roadblocks,
Mhm.
but as detours that ultimately lead them to where they need to be.
It's funny, we've been talking about all this serious stuff.
Yeah.
Like AI and resilience, building wealth, but the video also has some lighthearted moments.
Oh, cool.
Did you see that part where the host made them sell random objects? Oh, it was so fun.
Oh,
He challenged them to sell random objects on the spot.
that's hilarious.
It was great. It was like this it was a fun way to just kind of see their personalities
Yeah.
shine through. They had to think on their feet and come up with these creative
Oh, that's awesome.
for everything from a broken pair of glasses to a roll of toilet paper.
Wow.
It's a good reminder that even in the world of business, you got to have fun. Don't take yourself too seriously.
For sure.
And it showed, their ability to think creatively, adapt to these unexpected situations, which is, I think, valuable in any field.
Totally. Yeah. To show that they're not just successful business people, they're also just engaging, entertaining individuals.
Right, right. It humanizes them.
Yeah.
So as we kind of wrap up this deep dive, what are some of the key takeaways that stand out to you?
Well, one thing that really resonated with me was the importance of passion.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Like, these panelists are all incredibly passionate about what they do. And that passion is contagious. It fuels their drive and it inspires those around them. They
Yeah.
emphasize finding something you're truly passionate about. That's essential.
Right, right. Yeah, because it's not just about the money, right?
Right.
It's about pursuing something that lights you up,
Exactly.
that makes you, excited to get out of bed. And when you're passionate about your work, it doesn't feel like work.
Exactly.
It's it's an extension of you.
Totally. And I feel like, that passion often drives people to develop those specialized skills we were talking about earlier.
Mm.
When you're truly invested in something, you're naturally inclined to learn and grow,
Right.
to become like an expert.
And that's what makes you valuable, right?
Wow.
That expertise.
Especially in a world that's constantly evolving.
Another takeaway that stood out to me was the importance of like long-term thinking.
Yeah.
Building wealth or achieving any goal takes time, patience, and a willingness to kind of like delay gratification.
It's about setting your sights on the horizon, right?
Yeah.
And consistently working towards your vision, even when you don't see those immediate results.
It's easy to get caught up in this like instant gratification culture, you know?
For sure.
But real success is often the result of, years of dedicated effort and perseverance.
Right.
Remember that story about Jensen Huang and NVIDIA?
Yes.
I mean, that's a perfect example.
Totally.
How, long-term vision and commitment can lead to these extraordinary outcomes.
Exactly.
And then, of course, we can't forget about balance.
Balance is key.
These entrepreneurs, they're successful, but they also emphasize like the need to prioritize personal well-being, strong relationships,
Yeah.
sense of purpose.
It's about, finding that sweet spot.
Right.
Where you're thriving in all areas of your life, not just professionally.
Yeah, and I think their willingness to be vulnerable.
And share their stories, whether it was, struggles with mental health or distractions or setbacks, I think that made their advice more impactful.
Definitely. Yeah, it humanized them.
Yeah.
And it showed that even those who appear to have it all figured out still face challenges.
Right.
And they need to like prioritize their well-being.
And, I think their openness about those struggles also helped to normalize these conversations about mental health.
Totally.
Resilience, which are, sometimes stigmatized.
Yeah.
It showed that it's okay to not be okay.
Mm-hmm.
And that seeking help and developing like coping mechanisms
Right.
is a sign of strength,
Yeah.
not weakness.
For sure.
And finally, I think their emphasis on embracing failure
Yeah.
as a learning opportunity.
I love that.
I thought that was really inspiring.
Me too.
They all shared stories about setbacks that they faced
Yeah.
and how those experiences ultimately, shaped their path.
Right. And led them to greater success. They view failure not as a destination, but like a stepping stone, a chance to learn.
It's about shifting your perspective, right?
Yeah.
Viewing challenges as opportunities for growth rather than roadblocks.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that mindset can make all the difference in achieving your goals.
Yeah, absolutely. So as we conclude this deep dive, I would encourage you to think about, some of the wisdom shared by these Shark Tank entrepreneurs.
Mhm.
What resonated with you? How can you apply these principles to your own life? What are you passionate about? What unique skills can you develop?
Yeah.
How can you cultivate resilience and find balance in your pursuit of, success and happiness?
Those are all great questions to think about
Yeah.
as you continue on your own journey.
Absolutely. A huge thank you to you. You brought this insightful video to our attention.
Of course.
And to you, our listener, for joining us on this deep dive. We hope you've gained some valuable insights that'll
Yeah.
help you navigate your own path to success. And until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.
Yes.